Welcome to another edition of Mining Now, and we're on the exposition floor at CIM Connect. Things are buzzing here, and we're very happy to have Kal Tire with us and Christian Erdelyi. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So, Christian, tell us a bit about yourself, your background, and how you got involved in what you're doing today.
Okay, so I am with Kal Tire now for 10 years. And I have started my career at Kal Tire in Africa, in Zambia, looking after the Zambian and DRC operations. And before that, I have been working all over the mining industry and been on both sides of the table. Have been working for the miner direct, and I have been working for a service provider. And that's where I am today. I'm the mining technology solution manager. And I'm making sure that our systems meet the needs of the business and meet the needs of our customers.
For the people that don't know about Kal Tire, I know you're all over Canada, but what's the full scope of the company?
Yes, so that's the feedback that I normally get when I talk to people in Canada. They say, "Hey, Kal Tire, yeah, I know that they have a store in my town, and I go there to change my tires." And that's true. We do have that. But there's other facets of Kal Tire. I work for the mining tire group. There's recycling. There's the retreading and repair divisions. And so we have different offerings and different solutions that we bring to our customers. There's Ultra Repair, which is a proprietary technology to repair oversized damages that you can't repair or treat with traditional repair methods. We have the Maple program, where we provide carbon credits to our customers for repairing of tires or for the recycling of tires, and they can use those carbon credits and offset some of theirs. We have recycling solution, where, like in Chile, we operate a recycling plant for OTR tires and to recycle those back into the circular economy and producing carbon black, steel, diesel and oils to enable actually the tire manufacturer to take some of those products back into manufacturing of new tires. We have an innovation center that is based in Vernon that is focusing on engineering away some of the problems that our team members face on mine sites today by developing and innovating tools that allows for more safer changing and replacement of tires and tire servicing. We have our TOMS, our tire and operation management system, and I'm proud. I was one of the core team members that were set out to actually develop that solution. So I'm on the TOMS team since inception. And our latest item is a software offering, as a service offering called TireSight, which incorporates autonomous inspections and other sensor technologies that we find on mine sites today.
Let's talk about our Heavy Industry World Tour, brought to you by Savona Equipment, supplying mining equipment worldwide, and Corporate Traveler Canada, helping companies travel the globe simpler, faster, easier. We are heading to events across North America and Australia and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsman.com to be part of Crownsman's Heavy Industry World Tour. Does your mine plan keep up with changes on site? When it comes to managing a mine, you never know what's around the corner. When conditions change and you need answers yesterday, don't get held back by your scheduling software. With Micromine Elastri, you can explore a broader range of scenarios, rapidly test options, and slash your waiting times. Account for more in your mine plan and be ready with the right answers when questions arise. It's time your software matched the pace of your site's demands. Visit micromine.com/Elastri to learn more. Attention builders, we've got everything you need to know about the grit and grind of the construction world in one show. The Construction Show is where you can share your expert techniques and strategies to help keep the crew strong and construction sites secure. From foundational tips, industry trends, safety strategies to advanced equipment and machinery. Be part of the voice of construction. Book your episode and showcase your company to millions worldwide. Visit crownsman.com.
So one thing, because and I learn on every show. That's why I love Mining Now. And in doing a little bit of research, I knew about Kal Tire Mining. and I knew about the products that you supply to the industry. What I didn't know was the technology behind it. I find that really interesting because you could just sell tires,
Mhm.
no problem. But what you've done is not just provide the product, but help your clients with solutions in terms of optimization, in terms of, and I really like that safety piece you just mentioned. Looking at, you could leave it to your clients to figure that out, but you've jumped in and done that, and you're leading, or you're a big part of that with the company.
So yeah, we want to provide value to our customers' operation, and we want to be helping to solve problems that we find today on Mindset, selecting the best tire, making sure that all the parameters around the operation of those tires are okay, right pressure, right operating circumstances, inspecting them, making sure that those tires are healthy and that the truck can go to its next service safe and sound. And I think we would like to be in the room with the miner, in the room with the OEM, and making sure that we have the best tire strategy in place so that the miner can focus on what's important for them, moving material and being productive.
So I'm going to go off script a bit here. And what's the biggest tire you deal with in mining?
The biggest tire is a 5980-63. So it's a 63-inch tire. And we're talking a diameter of 4 meters and a weight of 4 tons. And the steel wheel inside adds another 4 tons. So
the 4 tons is just the
just tire,
rubber.
It's just the rubber, and the wheel another 4 tons. So the whole assembly is 8 ton, right? And when saying that, then you also understand why it is important to have tools in place that allow you to change those tires safely and without harming any technician.
It's not just jacking up your pickup and cranking a couple lug nuts.
It's more than that.
Job.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so I want to get into a little bit more about TireSight. And one of the things that's happening in every industry is AI.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are looking at that. And what I find very interesting is people are still trying to figure out how to apply artificial intelligence to help us in all industries.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have started doing that, I believe, with TireSight. So tell us a little bit about this this new initiative.
Okay. So TireSight is compromises out of autonomous inspections. And because there's so many of them, if you deploy technology like the autonomous inspection systems, when you are on the side of a whole road and you can see the same truck every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes, and you do an inspection, then you get an enormous amount of information about that machine, right? And for us, it was important that we don't overwhelm our technicians and our customers' operation with hundreds and thousands of pieces of information. So we did set up a condition monitoring center and a condition monitoring team. And that team's task is to make sure that the business rules that we have agreed with the customer, that those ones, the primary goal of us monitoring machines, and that those items that need action, that they are communicated clearly so we can prioritize them in the planning process and we execute them, right? We see that many systems fail because they're giving out too many alerts, too many notifications, too many things to look after. And we're trying to cut through this by filtering those information down and providing the precise feedback to what needs actioning.
So that's the element of AI that goes into it. So the data collection is one element, but I guess the medical term is triage, is identifying what is the most important thing that has to be dealt with. Is that a layman's explanation of what's happening?
I think that is true, right? The AI is good in doing what the AI has been taught to do.
Yeah.
But there's always things that the AI has not seen before or don't know how to react.
Okay.
Right? And then you need the human in the loop to actually teach the AI that the AI can start helping the human with better feedback over time, right?
Yeah.
And so we have this constant loop of AI doing detection, providing you with some feedback and information, and the human, the condition monitoring analyst or the reliability analyst working with that information and giving the AI feedback on how good or how bad those detections are.
You've got the experts in the background, and the system is a continuous loop, and the experts are checking and continuing to feed the system,
Correct.
and it keeps getting
Correct. Yeah.
more and more efficient at identifying issues.
Exactly, right? So it's very important that with AI, we don't want to replace the team member. We don't want to replace the
No.
technician. We want to take all the knowledge that we have as a collective in Kal Tire,
Yeah.
and we want to be able to provide that knowledge back to the technician in the field at the moment where the technician needs it the most.
Yeah.
CIM is Canada's leading technical institute dedicated to the sustainability of our industry. Members enjoy professional growth opportunities through CIM libraries, publications, webinars, societies, and the job board. Experience the CIM community firsthand at the Conference of Metallurgists August 19th to 22nd, ICARD September 16th to 20th, and the CIM Health and Safety Conference October 6th to 8th. Visit CIM.org for more information and join CIM today. Did you know cementitious binders can be responsible for up to 70% of the total GHG footprint of mine backfilling processes? Now you can replace up to 50% of the binder in your mine backfill operations with Graybond, Graymont's new low-carbon cementitious binder. This lime-based alternative binder maintains a 40 to 70% lower GHG footprint compared to typical cement and can adapt to varying mine conditions without compromising performance. Learn more about Graybond at graybond.com.
Yeah, and like you say, you don't want to replace your knowledge center, because the first time AI hits something it hasn't seen before,
It doesn't know what to do.
then you've got a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that combination, and again, I find this very interesting because people are trying to come to grips with how to apply artificial intelligence and at the same time integrate it into operations without creating a dependence. And I think that's what you guys are doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying the application of some new technology and seeing how we can use that to help our team member and to help our customers in the field.
So how are I've got to think your customers would embrace this support, beyond just selling them tires, this support structure that you guys are doing. It's great.
Yeah. So customers appreciative of the service and the extra insights we are providing. We started in 2001 with that offering, and
Just that value add, and then you continue to develop it.
Exactly. The first system that we deployed was in the oil sands operations, and we have been growing the footprint of our tire side operation. And at the moment, we're looking at 10 systems that we have deployed in the field, and there's a handful of systems we currently underway in rolling out to our customers' operations.
Yeah. So those early systems, those would have been what we see today as an operating management system, which is fairly standard in a lot of maintenance programs. But you were looking at that, you said 2001? 2021.
Yeah, 2021.
Okay. So setting up that system specific for
the autonomous, autonomous inspections.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I operated a pit truck one summer as a student.
Okay.
You get to know some of the shovel operators and how they load your truck. And when you get talking about that, I got thinking about, you may actually be able to monitor individual operators and how they, the wear and tear on equipment of Joe versus Tom, for example.
Sure. I think technology-wise, that is possible.
The owner may not want to do that.
Maybe finger pointing to individuals is maybe not the best way to solve a problem. But there are certainly coaching opportunities and training opportunities that you can distill out of the information that we collect today. That's the thing.
Because I know one of the things, once as an operator, you see some of the data, it's not even a finger pointing, it's and then you see you can get better. Then it becomes kind of competitive. And
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
But,
so if you can compare 2 or 3 crews with each other, then you can create a baseline, and you can easily tell which crew may not meet the baseline, and you can see what you need to change or what you need to train to move that crew to match the baseline.
Because when in the old days, it was all about time studies and who was most productive, but it didn't measure how much downtime there was on equipment. And we're getting more sophisticated now. It's not just about how many shovel loads or how many tons you move, because if you move a lot of tons and then that truck is in the shop and tires have to be replaced, well, that's big bucks. It all adds up.
Exactly. So one of our measures that we commonly look at is MTBS, mean time between service. So how often does the truck come in for tire work? And as you say, yes, with conditions on the mine site, spillage or road conditions, it's possible to influence this MTBS number, right? And the larger the number, the better, because it means the least the truck comes into the workshop for tire changes. And one aspect to support that is by aggregating the most amount of work with the least amount of stoppage, right? And if a truck
kind of a break-even analysis.
Exactly. If the truck is in the workshop, it can't be productive and it can't move material, right? Which is the most important thing on the mine site.
So that's a good point you made, because I was focusing on the individual operator, but you're saying like the road conditions, I would say evenness or the distribution of the load in the vehicle. There's all these other things that aren't necessarily operator related, but can influence your tire life.
Correct. So we do commonly studies on mine site. We do volumetric studies. We do weight studies. With those, we help the miner to calibrate the shovel operations, calibrate their payload systems. And yes, with positioning the load, you can influence your tire performance if you're overloading a certain tire position by positioning the load out of center, then this can have an effect on your tire life.
So we've been, I think we've been talking about open pit primarily. Kal Tire mining, how much do you get involved in the underground, or is it primarily open pit where the larger tires are?
No, Kal Tire is also servicing underground operations, and we are servicing operations in Sudbury in Canada. We are servicing operations in South Africa and Australia.
So mainly scoop and truck, or do you support utility vehicles as well? Or?
Yes, both.
So everything.
Yes, right. So we're servicing from foam-filled tires to pneumatic tires, chained tires with protection chains and track chains. So all of those are items that we commonly servicing.
So these systems are more amenable to open pit, where there's, data collection's easier. How does the data collection work underground? I guess the mine would have to have some type of backbone.
Yes. So I think there was a time where commonly technology was more relevant to surface mining, right? Because there was more interest. That's the rumor. I think today
it was easier.
It was easier, exactly. Yeah, I think today some of the most modern mines that there exist are underground mines, and you can have communication, you have connectivity, you have all of those things, and yes, the autonomous inspection is mainly targeted to surface mining operations because of the size of the tire and the types of problems that you have. But we have done underground trials, and we have been deploying some test systems to see how much area on the mining machine is exposed, and could we provide value by monitoring underground equipment. So we've been looking at scoops, and as the scoops were loading the feeder, yes, we could have a good view on the front tires of the scoop, which are the most important one, right? And the most one affected to tire damage. We also had a look at mining dump trucks, and there's one or two systems that our partner Pit Crew has deployed in underground operation, where we're currently collecting information and trying to build an underground model that at some point in time we have an AI model that can support surface operation, and we have an AI model that can support underground operations.
Okay. So when I operated a scoop and I spun the tires to fill the bucket, that wasn't a good thing.
That wasn't a good thing. You have every spin that you have done, you have saved some tire life and
You're
some money.
sacrificing tire life for
Exactly.
a full bucket, and
Exactly.
it doesn't pay off in the long run.
Yes.
And that's probably the same for almost all pieces of equipment. And I think that's something in the industry we're learning. And part of it's through the type of systems that you guys are using. The data is telling us what we thought might not be right is in fact not right, and we should do better.
Exactly. Right. So with our TOMP system, I think we're currently looking at about 1,000 locations.
Really?
That we're managing, or where we're managing data inside. And that allows us to have a very holistic view on what is happening throughout the world and what is happening in those types of mine sites. And it allows us to create some knowledge out from there to help again develop the best tire strategy for our customers, right? And yeah, underground, the lifespan of a tire is a lot shorter than for the general surface mining operations, right?
Yeah, usually rampways and roadways aren't kept in as good a condition as surface. There's lots of reasons. Yeah,
exactly. Right. Especially if the machine works in development, right? There's a short tire life expected, right? But you can offset that by utilizing retreading, for example, right? Where you take a new tire, you have its first life, send it back into the retreading process, get a second life out of it, and in this kind of way, the tire is same like a rotatable asset on the mining on mine operations, like an engine, like a gearbox that you rebuild, and you can have a second life, sometimes even a third life or a fourth life.
So creating a program for tires instead of just saying when we wear one out we're going to replace it. That's not cost effective or productivity effective,
and not environmental and social friendly, right?
Yep.
With our Maple program, for every tire that a customer retreaded or repaired, they will get
recognized for
carbon credits, and they're recognized for the efforts they have put in place to protect the environment and preserve the resources as much as possible.
So there were two things I wanted to touch on. You mentioned like 1,000 sites where the systems are in place. Does this data come into one? Does it come in centralized, or do the sites utilize it?
So the sites can utilize their information by themselves, and then all of that information is rolled up in one central place.
It does. They come in.
Yeah, where you then can have the holistic view of the data, and you can build AI models. You can deploy machine learning, and you can look for patterns and trying to identify problems before they become larger problems, right?
Yeah, so you have so many specific tires on one site that may not, the data may not be statistically valid, but by collecting them from all sites, you can get a much better view of what is happening with that tire and that.
Exactly, right? And we can provide feedback back to the OEMs, to the manufacturers, saying, hey, we see this and that behavior on your product in this kind of operation, and helping them to make the product.
To think about solutions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right at manufacturing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to bounce back to, because you mentioned it briefly, is about safety. And I don't know if it was redesigning, but looking at ways to, because people that don't know, the replacement of tires in mining industry has resulted in a number of injuries over the years. It can be, if it's not done right, it can be a dangerous job. But you guys are looking at some things to help there.
Correct. So when we look at the 63-inch tire, the 5980-63 that we talked about earlier, the tire has a volume of about 4,000 liters of air, right? And this is pumped up to a pressure of 8.5 bar or 115 psi. So you have one truck that is equipped with 6 bombs, literally, right?
Yeah.
And with the autonomous inspection system, one of the items that we're looking for are sealed separations, right?
Okay,
So
yeah, sure.
when tires are operating, they can get damaged in such a way that it's not visible to the technician, not visible to the operator. Traditionally with TPMS systems, we only looked at the temperature inside the chamber
Okay.
and the pressure, but they don't really talk to what's actually happening above the belt in between the tread, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So if you have a cut on a tread, for example, and you do not treat that cut with a repair, over time it degrades into a separation, and it has a
in the lower layer.
in the lower layers. It creates a cavity, and that cavity is prone to friction, and the friction creates
Sure.
smoldering heat,
Yeah.
right? And in the past, the technician, or on sites where we don't have autonomous inspection or thermal visioning, the operator and the technician, they rely on the smell of burned rubber to say whether or not there is something wrong with the tire.
Yeah.
While if you use thermal imaging systems, you can look into the problem and you can say there's something, and we can stop the machine before there is the need for truck isolation, right? Many or most of mine sites, they have a hot tire protocol in place.
Yeah.
And that talks to if we identify either a hot chamber temperature, or if we identify the burned rubber, the hot tire from the outside, the truck has to be parked between 12 and 24 hours to have the tire cool down until it's safe again to work on the tire.
Yeah.
And sometimes even then, after the cool down period, the tire has to be spiked and the air has to be released before the technician safely can approach the machine, right? So with the autonomous inspection system, we can now detect those conditions before they become a problem, before the truck needs to go and be isolated, and maintaining a situation where it is safe for the technician to approach a machine, right?
So in the old days, there might be a problem. You wouldn't know what it is for sure. You'd go in, you'd work on the tire, boom. So now you're identifying and saying, okay, it needs a cool down period, or it needs it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when with every scan that we do, and with every report or work order that we're providing to the technician, we give him a picture of where the problem sits and what's the size of the damage.
Yeah.
And even so, if it is hidden from his eyesight because it's inside the tread, he now knows there's a problem, and he can make a better informed decision whether or not it is safe to change the tire now, or the truck needs to go for isolation, or the tire has to be spiked and the air has to be released, right? Because the end result of those sealed separation or even cut separation is rapid deflation of a tire, or even a tire fire.
Yeah.
Right. And a tire fire is a catastrophic event on the mine site that can destroy a $6 million truck.
Yeah. And underground, fire underground is a whole other animal.
Exactly.
Too. And you look at those tires, and I'm no expert, but I've operated a couple pieces of equipment. I don't know how people can see anything wrong. A visual inspection doesn't identify some of these things. So you're kind of going blind if you don't have some tools to.
Yeah. So traditionally, the visual inspection, right, is done when the truck is static.
Yeah.
And on a tire that is 4 meters high, when I as a technician go and approach the machine, there's only a certain area that I can cover with my eyesight.
Yeah.
I can't look at the top of the tire, and I can't look underneath, right? And the difference from this traditional way of inspecting to using technology, the truck doesn't have to stop. And while the truck is passing the camera, we can see 2 or 3 full rotations of the tire.
Okay.
And with that, we can see majority of the area that when we traditionally inspect machines are not possible to see, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of based on luck, whether or not a technician sees the condition or if it's hidden in areas, right?
Yeah.
Today, many miners still require technician inspection. I like to call them random inspection because we have all trucks on a schedule.
Yeah.
And instead of saying, I want to focus my time that I have available on the trucks that have conditions, and I can prioritize those conditions and make sure that those machines inspected the right amount of time, they have to follow an inspection schedule where every truck needs to be inspected every 5 days, every 7 days. for them to obtain or to maintain the permit to operate for the mine site, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things I like to set out in future is to work with those permit operating bodies
Yeah.
to find out what is required for a truck inspection to qualify as a truck inspection, right?
Yeah.
There's a checkbox. Okay, when we go, this are the 5 things.
You do a walk around, but
Yeah.
like you say, you can't see.
Yeah.
There's a lot of you can't even see a major cut in a lot of the
if it is out of
yeah.
if it is out of your view,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
right.
Yeah. So I've learned so much about tires, and I knew some basics, but when I started to read what Kal Tire was doing, I was really impressed with how you're applying technology to add value. So and that's your department, right? That's
Mining technology solutions, yes.
Yeah.
Finding ways
Yeah.
to make the life of our operation folks easier and helping our customers to get more value out of their tires and our operations on the mine sites.
okay. So Christian, is there anything else you want to leave with the audience, like closing remarks, or did you just do that? That was a good summation right there.
I think it was a good summation, and for everyone who's interested in trying to find out what could be improved in their operations, give me a shout or shout out to some of our sales representatives, and we are happy to come and have a look at your data, import them into our TOM system, and just have a check through and see if there's something that comes out that is maybe worthwhile chatting about, and build a strategy around to get this taken care of.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And to our audience, thank you so much for joining Mining Now, another edition of Mining Now with Christian Erdelyi, and talking about Kal Tire Mining and all the great technology they're implementing. So thank you for another very interesting edition of Mining Now.
Thank you.